Before I get into my session today, I want to introduce someone who's hot, sexy, absolute size 0, and so irresistible that you guys will all want to put your lay your hands on it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at her. The XPS 13, the most ultimate ultrabook of all, voted as the best ultrabook by Gizmodo by the latest CES review. Edge-to-edge Corning Gorilla Glass 13.3 inches system brought to you in a 11.6 inch footprint. Carbon fiber base, single cut aluminum alloy with the TPM chip built into it, which perfectly fits into your corporate environment, and also offering to you pro support services so that you don't have to worry about any kind of downtime. Now, how many of you have actually seen this at the booth? Oh my God, what have I done? Let me check if it's working, or my boss is going to kill me now. And it's working perfectly fine. To present you our point of view, to see some of the common faced challenges, Dell's approach, and what are the next generation products that you can see from Dell in the course of this year. We have a very simple 4-point agenda. One is to basically simply improve management of end-user devices. It's not about technology or text and speed today. Speed hardly matters. We'll be able to deliver to you as an organization and to help improve the business going forward. At the same time, we need to help you provide better security. How many of us today think of our organization strategy? How many of you are actually considering securing your endpoint devices? Do users take a backup of their data? I don't think so. Does your endpoint device is able to communicate with your organization, centralized IT in a secure manner? Very few people are thinking about it today. And we will tell you how we can do that. The ultimate goal is to achieve productivity gains. It's not about providing a device, it's about providing an experience. And overall, you should be able to do this with the least ROI. You shouldn't have to spend a whole lot of money just to make sure that you have the right solution in place and not able to manage it cost effectively. Right? So let's take a deeper look on what Dell's recommendation is on the overall end user computing strategy. So like I said, it's not only about technology, it's about providing the maximum productivity to the end user by maintaining the control with the IT department. Right? So Dell solutions are clearly evolving. We've had a plethora of solutions. You've seen us with the latest Latitudes, the latest Optiplex, the latest Precisions. But have you also seen that Dell is pioneering specific industry vertical solutions, be it mobile computing clinics for the healthcare, or be it connected classroom solutions for the education market. We even have ruggedized solutions for the battlefield. All of these products are available to you worldwide. So very clearly, making a difference in the end user computing space by providing you a solution which caters to your need. These solutions are developed with extensive research and based on customer feedback. How many of you know that the last generation of product was actually designed based on 60,000 users' feedback? More than 7,000 organizations across the world were taken into consideration when we designed our new products. And the XPS 13 again is a product that has come from customer feedback. Right? So very clearly Dell is out here to listen and to work with you to provide you the right solutions and products. From a strategy point, have we got a critical strategy or an important strategy in place which defines which user should use which kind of system? Have we segmented our users for the kind of devices, the way they interact with the data in the network? Do we take an approach of one fits all? Or do we optimize our solutions by having a customized solution or a tiered strategy for end user computing devices? So first is to know your employee, how he accesses data on the network. Second is to segment the usage of that user. Third is to determine the appropriate technology that needs to go inside that device. And then the fourth and most important is to see what kind of security parameters need to be deployed. It's no longer an IT decision, and you all have faced it day in and day out where users are coming up to you today and asking you to enable a particular device. How many users, let's take a show of hands, how many of your users have come back to you in the recent 6 months and asked you to support an Android device or an Apple device in your environment? Right? A good 30% of the crowd is already lifting their hands. So it's no longer a decision that you're making. It's a decision that consumers, the end users, are forcing upon us to embrace the consumerization of IT. And we need to be a part of that change to be able to help them in their productivity. So security, so traditionally we see that security is considered is revolving around the data center, and there is application level security. But what about the endpoint device? So with Dell, we bring to you various hardware and software security solutions where you can not only safeguard the endpoint device, but also the core of your data center. We had a case with an investment broker who actually lost his laptop. He had investment information of over 100 people, and just as a sample size, each of them had invested about $1 lakh with him. So for an IT administrator, it was just probably the cost of the device that was lost. But the agent knows the valuation of those 100 investments that lie in his system. There was a few crores of rupees that was actually residing on that system. So it's the business that takes a hit. It's not a mere hardware cost that we incur. So we really need to relook at our entire strategy on security. Having a very secure firewall is just not the answer anymore. Moving on, once we assess our needs, it's time to deploy. Now, with the increasing manpower costs that we've seen today, automating the deployment cycle has also become very challenging. Today, when we deploy assets, it takes us upwards of about 72 hours to get our systems ready to the end user. With Dell, later on this year, we will be launching a solution called Case, which is an automated deployment solution and a centralized managed solution stack that you can implement in your environment. You can do a complete software asset, you can asset inventory, you can maintain the entire asset base of your client systems on a single console. You can keep the patches up to date, and you can even create a log of which system has which patch, right? So you can actually automate the entire deployment phase of that and connect that to the management phase as well. So today you're using a particular type of management console to manage your entire equipment on the network. With the deployment of Case, it becomes one single box which helps you deploy and monitor your entire network. Moving on, the fourth step is virtualization. We've all seen what a big success virtualization is in the data center or with our servers. But how many of you have actually considered virtualizing your desktops? Now, our point of view is virtualization may not be the answer to everybody, but it is an option and a solution that everybody can deploy as a part of their business needs. As a part of our endeavor to increase the security on client devices or on desktop or fixed assets, we have a pre-configured stack which is researched for over 50,000 hours and made readily available to you on an open architecture. We can do various forms of VDI. We can do an on-site or a cloud-based. It can be hosted by the customer or it can be hosted by Dell. There's a lot of flexibility in terms of how we virtualize the devices you decide based on the ROI of your particular environment. And we back that up with services. So needless to say, you have services starting from the endpoint devices up to your core data center to manage all of this from Dell. And the entire phase entire process is taken with a very tiered approach where we work out the feasibility, discover a particular need, do a blueprint of the entire assessment, design, implement, and then only deliver it to you to operate and manage. So a completely robust cycle which helps the customer evaluate what parts of their network they can actually virtualize. And last but not the least, like we saw by a show of hands, 30% of our customers sitting right here in this room have said that there is a strong need for mobilization of our workforce. People are bringing their own devices into the corporate network because it helps them improve their productivity. It helps them achieve the task in probably a shorter time in a much more productive way. Work from home is an increasing concept that we have seen today and greatly boosts the employee morale. So to begin with, have a clear-cut mobility strategy or mobilization strategy amongst your end users. Assess which customer or which, for you, the customer is your end user and is your business. Are they ready to use a smartphone or are they ready to use a tablet? What kind of applications do you want to take to the field force? What kind of applications do you want to optimize for the smartphone or for the tablet? And then, second step, when you decide to do that, have a security and a management policy in place. By just making an app mobile ready will not solve your problem. Because of making an app mobile ready, you're actually giving control to that user of all the entire corporate data that you have. So it's very important that we have a security strategy in place before we roll out these devices. And then the third, or which clubs back to the second point, is that will actually determine, based on your security policy, that which application you can take to the end user. The entire approach, or three-stage approach, is again a consulting service that we offer from Dell, and it's a business decision. It's no longer a decision that you can make. Your customers or your end users are forcing you to adapt and to adopt the new wave of change. With this, let's go and take a look of our next generation products. So you've seen that very clearly Dell is expanding its product portfolio. We've incorporated the XPS, which is typically known as our consumer brand, as a part of the BYOD concept, or the trend in the industry, as a part of your commercial network as well. We are taking all the necessary steps to make sure that you have every level of service that you enjoy on a commercial or enterprise client system is made available to you on a consumer device as well. So clearly, bring your own device and consumerization of IT are going to be the biggest trends that you will see over the course of this year and going forward. There were more smartphones sold in the market last year than actually PCs. So it's very clearly evident that this is a fact that we cannot ignore. We have to embrace it, and we have to be prepared to be able to roll out that to our end users. So later on this year, on the normal client products, you will see the new Ivy Bridge architecture coming out from Intel. We had a detailed session in the morning. So you will see in the June timeframe, the third generation of Core i technologies coming out from Intel, and all of those latest will be made available to you from a Dell perspective. We will also have a fully commercial Ultrabook available to you in the later half of this year during the September or October timeframe, where Windows 8 again comes out in the market. And you will also see the latest precision of the high-end computing machines of ours in a very short duration, which is sometime in May. So we have our partners NVIDIA in the room today, and post my session, they will take you through all the technology advancements that we are seeing on the computing space as well. VDI, so you can see that there are multiple modes of delivery. You can have a hosted solution, you can have a managed solution, you have a customer managed solution, or a mix of both. The entire 4-step or 5-step process that we have defined over here will help you assess which is the best needed solution in your environment. It's not, again, a one solution that fits all. You have to assess what parts of your network you want to actually virtualize. Mobility. So these are again the solutions that will be available to you during the course of this year. We've currently launched the service in the Americas and in EMEA. We're actually evaluating the specific needs from an India perspective. What are the kind of applications that we need to roll out from an India perspective? What is the Indian market demand for a mobilization strategy that they want to deploy in their networks? Do you want a data management solution, or do you want an expense management solution? So we want you to talk to us and tell us what exactly you would want to see from Dell from a mobility perspective. You can go back to your business and ask them what kind of applications, if we were to mobilize, would help your business. Right? We can also help you devise applications or take your applications and make them enterprise ready. We will give you a platform which is going to be platform independent or OS independent, be it a BlackBerry, be it an Android or an Apple device. They will be able to communicate on a Dell platform, which in the back end will communicate with your existing infrastructure. And this encompasses our entire mobility consulting service, which we will launch in the second half of this year. So, results. What have we achieved by having done all of this? We've helped the customer reduce 2,000 hours of management by having an improvised management solution on 2,100 endpoints. We've helped save 75% of security costs, which is basically amounts to about 4.5 million. Now, with the amount of money that you are getting allocated as a part of your IT budget, how significant is $4.4 million over a 3-year period? It is potentially at 25-30% of your annual spend on your core enterprise. Right? Productivity gains, needless to say, once you mobilize apps, once you have a more effective and secure system of logging in, the more you enable the user, productivity will obviously go up. And we measured it by the number of hours the employee was able to log in, or by the number of, the turnaround time that he was able to deliver to your business. And the last point, costs. Over 600% of the overall cost was reduced from about 4,000 desktops. Right? So we very clearly are backing all of our solutions with specific proof points and data. And we want to work with you very closely to be able to do the same for you. With that, I come to the end of my presentation, and I would like to leave the forum open to you for any questions that you may have, or feel free to visit us at the expo area to have more one-on-one and meaningful conversations that you can take back to your business and develop the right solutions.